Hello and welcome to Fortune India's Disruptor podcast. Today I have with me Vikram Malhotra, founder and CEO Abundantia Entertainment. Vikram is the one who's produced some gripping content such as the Chhorii franchise, the Breathe franchise, Airlift, Baby, and Sarfira, amongst many others. Guess what we're going to talk to Vikram about today? AI in content creation. Will AI actually take away the human storytellers? Let's find out. Thank you, Vikram, for making into Fortune India's Disruptors podcast.
Thank you for having me over, Rajita.
Today, we're going to discuss about AI in content creation. And as a writer, I never imagined AI and technology getting into storytelling. And you've launched your new AI division, AI content creation division, Aeon. Just curious to know how different is content creation going to be going forward, and how is AI going to kind of accentuate better storytelling?
Just like as a writer, you never imagined AI to enter your world. Doctors, manufacturers, teachers, artists never imagined technology to play such a key role in their worlds. Change and evolution is the law of nature, and this advancement of a mankind defining once in a generation technology like artificial intelligence is all encompassing. It's all around us, and it carries the potential of being a defining technology that will not just shape the future, but how we anticipate and build the future for humans. I, for one, am fundamentally a believer in the positive side of AI. My belief is in the saying that, especially in the long term, we tend to overestimate the risk and underestimate the opportunity, and tend to bring on that view to technological developments, especially when it comes to game-changing developments like AI. But it's here to stay. It's in our lives. It's been a part of our lives in a simpler, smaller way already for the last few years. And with each passing day, its involvement and impact in human life is only growing. Looking at the future of how this technology started shaping several industries, Abundantia was an early adopter on how we could leverage this to not just get better at what we do, but enable our partners and creators to do more with what they have, to unlock more value for themselves, to unleash their imagination bigger and better than ever before, with the end objective of improving our customers' experience and their value for money and time. Our early play of leveraging AI in certain parts of the content creation and production value chain gave us so much confidence that we felt this to be not just a tactical initiative, but in many ways the future of storytelling. Therefore, Abundantia Aeon, our new creative division, which is our commitment to that future of storytelling. We hope to leverage AI not just as a technology that will bring in new voices or new ability, but we want to leverage AI as a liberator, as an enabler to the human talent that we work with. Aeon's core philosophy is human first, AI empowered. My take on content created with AI is not machines telling stories. This is not about machines and applications making films. This is about a human voice. Writers, directors, researchers, technicians, now having unprecedented access to technology and powers to broaden their vision and to bring to fore the kind of storytelling the kind of democratized storytelling that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. That's the core belief behind our play in AI, and why Abundantia Aeon is such a strategic imperative for us.
You talked about democratized storytelling. Can you illustrate with an example as to how AI will assist in democratizing storytelling? How would it change the life of a storyteller, a writer, a producer? How is it going to change their lives?
That's a great question, and one that I will begin by the simplest of examples. Anyone in any part of the world with access to a device, a camera within that device, internet enabling within that device, and access to a few public platforms is today a storyteller. Not just in the form of user generated content that we've come to know of, but in the form of high quality storytelling, world building, visualizing, and executing expertise readily available. This has taken away the need to subscribe, access, cross boundaries, geographical and virtual. All of that is a thing of the past. Everybody has access to a base level of storytelling tools, and that's where unlocking imagination comes in. So the minute access has happened and ability has been democratized in the form of everyone who has a mind, a story to tell, has a device, even a basic one, now is a creator. And that to me is the real creator of value in the years to come.
But if I watch a piece of content that you've created, there's so many nuances. There are so many twists and turns, which I do you think AI can really capture that? Uh, because I have been watching some of the recently launched AI driven content. Uh, as a consumer, it didn't really kind of capture my attention because I felt there was something amiss there. So how are you going to, close those gaps?
That's the part where understanding the technology and its ability comes in. AI, for the large part, is what a human wants to make of it, what a human wants it to do, and what a human wants out of it. If you think that AI storytelling is about typing in a few prompts and out pops a feature film or an episode of a story, that's not happening now. That's not happening in the future. As I mentioned, AI is a tool to enable storytelling. The nuances that you speak about in my world come from the fact that there is a storytelling voice, there is a creator's vision. That still needs to be paramount. That's at the heart of every story that we are telling at Abundantia Aeon. It's about how do you use this technology, understand the technology and its prowess itself first, and then leverage it to your advantage. It is a true amalgamation of art and science, and the bridge between that is potentially AI, which we've never had in the 100+ year history of filmmaking, especially in this country. AI can be used as a rapid research tool. AI can be used to build worlds at speeds and costs that are so far not even imagined. The storytelling voice needs to be human. The emotion that is delivered both by the storyteller and sought by the viewer needs to be human. That marriage is what becomes key to the kind of stories that come out of AI. I say this very often to our creative partners, our creators, when I'm asked this question about, are we going to replace humans in the process of storytelling? Not by a distance. What we are looking at doing at Aeon, and some early examples globally seem to suggest that that is indeed the best way forward, is leverage our creative prowess, our ecosystem, our voices, and bring in equal amount of tech on the other side, which allows them to punch above their weight. So if a creator wants to build a futuristic world and so far was liberated, let's imagine there's a story where a writer and a director get together to imagine a world in 2050, and so far have been constrained by budgets, by time. They now will crunch this by proportions that would bring the costs down and the timelines crunched in a manner that access will become easy. The voice will still remain those storytellers.
Can I get an example of a project that you're working on?
Absolutely.
And how you're using AI to your benefit?
Let me give you an example of a horror film that's in development with Abundantia. I firmly believe that horror is a genre that speaks a universal language. Everybody scares in the same language globally, or gets scared in the same language globally. It's an underserved genre in India. Abundantia's attempts in creating Chhorii have become a very successful franchise. So, buoyed by that thought, we said, why don't we look at this genre and see what's the potential of leveraging AI and related applications for storytelling in this genre? So, we got a specialist writer who created a character, who created a world. And as a test, my creative team and I felt that let's pick out a couple of scenes. Let's pick out the monster that we hope to create, which will be the manifestation of all things scary in this film. And let's see what our partners on the tech side can do. We took two scenes and flipped them over to our tech partners and said, tell us, how do you visualize this? For one of them, they came back and said that, you know what, we'll execute this in this manner, and it seems very beautifully written, and we'll give you this world and this backdrop, and it'll take this kind of time. For the other scene, which especially involved the evolution of the monster, if I say this here, involves the introduction of the monster in the film, our partners turned around and told us, hang on, it's a great idea. Here's what we can do. Think of the manifestation like this. So if you're giving them an input of 10, they've come back, loaded it with a physicality, with powers, with the way the movement would be, with the way the physical attributes would play. And just the very definition was upped so significantly that the original creators felt that their work had been elevated to another level. That to me is the game-changing ability that we are facing. And remember, this was one scene flipped out casually to one set of creators who are obviously very good at what they do, global creators, international partners of ours. And that then gives your writers and directors the confidence to think even bigger, to think even more complex. And this was done in a matter of days. This is the wind beneath our wings when we are doing work at Aeon. This possibility is what is driving this thrust for us.
So just wondering which are the genres wherein AI intervention would work better. I'm assuming like a normal family drama or a rom-com kind of a story. I don't think you need AI, right? It is for like when you said a horror movie which has a monster, or probably a supernatural, a mythological film. Are those the genres where AI would work better?
Let me answer your question by a parallel first. We all know that one of the industries or fields that AI is making the maximum impact in right now is the medical sciences field. It's like saying that, will the advent of AI give me diagnosis for a common cold better and faster than a human doctor? Or would it help in the highest, most complex level of cancer research or superbug research come in a more impactful manner? The answer to this is it will help at all levels. It will leverage and unlock value for its users at all levels. AI is not a piece of software that gets constrained or focused on to a particular kind of problem. Just like in medical sciences, I've been reading with a lot of interest. There's been a paper published by some scientists of Stanford, which is talking about creating viruses that could potentially kill millions of superbugs, and hundreds of millions of mutations are being evaluated by AI in a short circuited time to find those solutions which have plagued our world for decades. I see the application of AI in storytelling across the board. In some genres, like I mentioned about horror or science fiction, mythology, they could create entire worlds and characters and execute them in the form of virtual production. In some genres, they could fast track research. They could help refine and sharpen storytelling through scripts and screenplays and iterations therein. And they could help create characters with the ability to virtually produce all if you want. To give you an example, in a partnership with Collective Artists Network, we are producing what many are calling India's first AI generated theatrical Hindi feature film, Chiranjeevi Hanuman. Now, that's a film which has a national award winning director, Rajesh Mapuskar, at the helm of it. It has amazing writers. Rajesh is working with a team of technicians in visualizing, imagining, leveraging AI to tell the story the best, but its entire production is made in AI. From that to examples of our latest production, the much loved and record breaking when it originally came out as a film and a story of one of our most loved goddesses, Jai Santoshi Mata. That's a film in which we are blending live action with AI. So the possibilities are endless and they're across the board. I'm a believer, Ajita, that it's about what the human wants to know. What the human wants to do is where the best use of AI is going to emerge.
So my next question is going to be on capacity building. So how are you gearing up your, how are you kind of training your reskilling your team to be AI ready?
Quite apart from being the buzzword in our lives, and if you pick up a newspaper, go online, watch TV, AI is everywhere. Conversations, discussions about billions of dollars, game-changing ability, fears, opportunities, it's all around us. Upskilling is crucial, not from a point of view that Abundantia wants to be a tech company, at least yet. I'm not looking at my creative team, my production team, to suddenly become engineers who know how to code and apply AI to the work that they do on the technical side, but I'm expecting them to appreciate the value that it can create. I'm expecting them to know the capabilities of the tech team and what they can do if briefed in the right manner. A lot of leveraging of AI in my own study across industries, and I've been at it for a while, is telling me the real magic lies in the human voice, in the human mind, knowing the potential of AI. So we are underway with not just Team Abundantia, but also our partner writers and directors to begin with, in telling them about what lies on the tech side of things. And it's a two-way street. We're also talking to our tech partners to talk to our creators and tell them what they can do in their writing, in their visualizing, in their world building. Upskilling is key, not just, as I said, from an appreciation part of view, but also from a leveraging part of view. And one of the things that everyone's coming out of these sessions is telling us that this is not something to be feared. This is something to be embraced. This is not here to replace what humans are doing more than any other tech, more or less than any other technology that's come into our business in the past.
So coming back to your, the discussion around democratizing content, it will be interesting to hear from you as to by how much would AI kind of cut down costs? Will it really cut down costs? Will making a film or a show for an OTT platform become far cheaper? How's the business of filmmaking going to evolve?
The fundamental question that I asked myself before we get down to understanding or the financial impact of leveraging this technology is, what are we asking it to do? What's the real use of AI in our industry? I didn't wake up one morning and say that from now on Abundantia will not work with actors. So let's find a way to create fake humans and get them to be the actors in our films or our shows. 90% of our current slate is live action. I don't see that going any lesser than 70% in the next 3 to 5 years. So our dependence on the conventional form of storytelling will continue to remain until and unless there are drastic shifts in technology that allow you further advancements in the way we do our business. So the question I asked myself was, how can we be better at what we do? What are the problems that we are currently unable to solve that we can leverage AI to solve? One key area that emerged was productivity, efficiency. How much time we were taking from idea to screen? How much money were we spending to enhance the product that was going on screen? And those are the areas where we are applying AI the most. I anticipate that on a steady state, at Abundantia's level, over the next 3 years, we will bring down our cost of production on fully generated in AI films by as much as 70 to 80% as compared to a like-to-like film made in live action with conventional CGI and VFX. And films where we have a mix of live action and AI, I'd see a cost impact favorably of at least 25 to 30%. And on the revenue side, by virtue of productivity enhancing and script to screen timelines being crunched, the same level of input would see an output in as much as a saving of 25 to 30% in time. That to me is the real benefit. Like I said, nobody here is looking at doing anything which takes away from the end user experience. Because my belief is that once the novelty value dies down of content made in AI or films and episodes of shows that look a certain manner, once that initial novelty value dies down, the audience couldn't care less if they were watching live action or animation or work made in AI. They'd want value for their time and money. They'd want to be entertained irrespective of how you chose to tell your story, as has been proven successfully and unsuccessfully by some amazing animation work that we've seen across the last couple of decades.
So, two questions. Will this result in reduction in star costs? And also, is it going to be the end of other technologies like VFX and things like that, which are far more expensive, I'm assuming?
So, to your second question first, I don't see this as an either or when it comes to VFX and CGI and other existing and prevailing forms of tech support to filmmaking. I see this as an amplification of that. I see VFX and AI, CGI and AI working together to actually maximize the potential of both. Some early examples globally and even in a smaller way at Abundantia are telling us that that's the way forward. It's like using the best of two worlds. VFX and CGI and human ability to leverage them for filmmaking has evolved significantly over the last few years. The kind of stories that we're telling creating virtual worlds and using this technology has gone to another level over the last 10 years, 15 years. I see AI coming in and enhancing that ability to begin with. Come in as an additive, not as something that would replace. And then the two finding a sweet spot to give even more value to the storyteller and to the production. To your first point, like I said, the intent in its best manner is not for it to be an either or to any conventional form of storytelling. A story that needs human actors will need human actors. And that's the best form of telling that story. Fake humans, as I call them, created by AI, are not at a level currently where they're convincing in most cases in stories. There are some amazing examples of how virtual humans are being created in films and series. But at a larger level, that ability is yet to come through as proper steady state examples. I think wherever efficiency needs to be brought in it. Currently, areas like large crowds, where you need to depict a scene that has 10,000 people. We were using technologies like crowd multiplication through work that we would do in VFX. Areas like shooting against a green screen and then using VFX to compose this with the live action work that's been done. I see those areas and the requirement of human presence in those areas go down. But actors that are key to stories, I see no way now or in the future that there would be any form of replacement.
From a business point of view, how much do you expect Aeon to contribute to your overall revenues?
We are extremely bullish about our new creative division. We already have a slate of 6 films underway in development. Investment is proportionate to the development requirements of these 6 films. Yes, we've channeled development funds from live action films and moved them towards this because we see improved margins, higher productivity. In the first full year of operations of Abundantia Aeon, which includes work that is fully generated in AI and the support that AI lends to our live action film, I see a contribution of 10 to 15%. And across a steady state of 3 years, I see this number going up to as much as 30 to 35%.
And so will the number of films that you produce each year, will that go up now that time will get crunched and budgets are also going to be more affordable? Are you going to make more films? I mean, will that give you the leeway to have a longer slate of content?
Absolutely. The intent is to work at both levels, increase our capacity to work on more films and shows at the same time. To begin with, Abundantia Aeon is focused on films. Our current slate, as I mentioned, of 6 films is what I see rolling out between the next 12 to 24 months on screen. This will be an addition to our existing slate and therefore will not just increase our output, but a key target for Abundantia and its AI division is to improve our margins on a like-to-like basis. So the effort is to deliver impact on both top line and bottom line.
Interesting. I was just reading a report by Randstad, a Gen Z workforce report by Randstad, and the report said that the younger Indians are far more AI equipped than anyone else in the world. And now that we are talking about introducing AI into content creation, are we going to see more Indian content traveling globally?
What a great point you make. To add to your statistic, I will also tell you that there are studies that are depicting that Indians are amongst the top 3 populations that are most excited about the role of AI in their lives and are the least anxious as compared especially to our Western counterparts. And the sub 25 population leads this statistic for India. I see not just uptake, but I also see sustained uptake of this. If you see early trends of downloads and usage of ChatGPT, Perplexity, specific applications that allow you to create simple things like presentations, spreadsheets, short reels. The crystal ball got thrown out many years ago, especially in AI, but I'd stick my neck out and say India is going to be the leading market for all of these plays in as little as under 3 years. So I'm a believer that it's this audience that's going to drive the consumption and build the future on this front.
Interesting. Just one last question before we end. How have you changed as a leader with all these new technologies coming in? And you've been a filmmaker for so long, and that was a different era altogether when you started. So, how have you evolved as a leader? What do you tell your, the younger you, the younger members of your team?
As a company, Abundantia was always about looking around the corner and seeing what lies there. We were amongst the first to identify progressive stories and bring them to screen with work like Airlift or Jalsa or Sherni or Toilet Ek Prem Katha, and we've partnered with some wonderful creators in this journey. Abundantia was also amongst the first to identify streaming becoming the mainstay of content consumption for a major part of India as it has, and the result of it was that we brought out Breathe in 2018 as one of the first premium series on the streaming scenario in India. Apart from my own inclination and fascination of everything tech, that's one of the key reasons why Abundantia Aeon's been created and why we are investing and focusing so much and why I'm personally driving it. I do see it as the technology and the interface of the future with the audience. Working on this has made me realize how potent technology can be, how suddenly playing fields can become even for everyone, how advantages that legacy companies thought that they had created over decades have all been flattened out. What I didn't have hundreds of crores to create in the past and was therefore unable to take on, I am now able to go aggressive on those thanks to everything that AI is enabling. It's also made me push my team harder. It's also made me become a person who's more tech inclined in a field that historically prides in itself on being more passion driven. And it's also taken me back to working 18 to 20 hours a day because I genuinely want us to get ahead of everyone else in creating content that uses the best of AI. I constantly tell my team that the future is here. We are building it. Anyone who leverages it, this technology of AI, its application to storytelling, to creation, to production, over the next 0 to 3 years is going to find themselves with a huge competitive advantage. So that's what's keeping me awake and excited all through even more.
So, AI is not going to come at the expense of conventional content creation. Rather, it's going to take content creation to the next level. Content costs are going to get democratized, which means consumers like us will get to see more better quality content. I really hope you've enjoyed this discussion. See you soon. Thank you.